Hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? You ever remember that commercial? Hello, can you hear me now? No? Well, how about now? You know, I could do a George Bush impersonation too. I don't tell people that actually. I feel very special that I told you that. Welcome back, by the way. I am your happy healer lover, and we've just got done doing an amazing show. It was at 7 o'clock, just like it was planned, and we missed the majority of an amazing content. So I do apologize about that. Please do excuse me. I am sorry. I do love you, and nothing changes. The deal is still on, and the plan is to be here doing the same thing and talking about the important issues that are so central, and I do mean to all of our hearts. And I was explaining that dirty devil, and explaining, like I said, and I repeat, that this energy that we have to be so careful and so cognizant of. Really, you have to be. And should you fail, that is where you will fail for your life and at your own peril. So you want to be plugged in. You want to know what is so important, that what is people are missing, and that's what is hurting their quality of life, their ability to see what's important to have a happy life. And what I say to people is the ability and the strength to no longer deal with depression. Think about that. That's the power of what is behind the construction of American Mantics. American Mantics is backed by your happy healer. That is me. And that is all of the teachings and learnings and humble study that I have experienced, and that this evening I'll be sharing with you. And I appreciate your being here. God bless you, and God bless America, right? God bless you, though. You're part of this family, and it's great to have you here. And I love you guys. Joe, it's great to see you. Diane. You do hear me now, at least, right? Yes, I do hope you do hear me. Your happy healer wants to know. That is unbelievable. But I did see the message, and I said, my goodness, they cannot even hear me. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that. That's so great. And this is serious stuff. And I love to have a light mood over it. I love to be funny, and I love to do a lot of different skits. And I call them skits. They're just so important because it gives the impression that we need to have in order to accept the gift, in order to understand what's happening. Because a lot of these concepts, right, they're different, they're new, they're novel in the sense that you probably haven't really thought of it quite like how I will unpack it to you. And that is because the plan around American Mantics, like I said, is built around experiences your happy healer has had in this life. And I think that if you better understand those experiences, and that I could better share them through media in this amazing apparatus that we call media in the current age. And I just know that even everything in this life, every man and woman and child and human being, God's precious people, they know that all of what we see is the result of our caring, loving Creator. That is our starting point. We know that. That is factual. So when we see something, we know exactly where to give it credit to. And love is a motivating factor for our Creator. Love is the greatest force in the universe as so far as humanity is concerned, and that is factual. That is scientifically factual. Human beings are lovers. And that's great news. So we're using facts right now, and we'll continue using facts because facts will set us free. And facts are, by definition, the truth. And so together, when you bring facts and you bring truth and you bring love, you get the essence thereof, our Creator, who is an almighty lover. And by golly, I love me some God and Jesus Christ and all of the saints. We are so blessed. Are we not so blessed to be alive at this time even, and to have such great opportunities right before us? We are at such a precipice in the human order, and this is all a gift from our Creator, and each and every one of us are a gift from God to one another. And I never forget that truth. That truth is what I live by as your happy healer. And so we'll go ahead and get things started for the second time, and that'll be just fine. And here we go. I'm going to share with you guys some prepared media, and I'm going to start it from the beginning, however, because you didn't see the beginning part. And these different things that we're discussing, we'll get into a little bit deeper into this prepared media. And what I plan on doing is having a lot of different prepared media and sharing this stuff as time goes, so you get a better understanding of some of the experiences. And plus, it's meant to be entertaining as well, to share it in a more entertaining way that you will understand better. Okay, we've been through so many things, and I'll be explaining those things as we go, so you'll understand better. This all is just the actual cause and concern of American Mantics. All right, so it's Wednesday, and which is now, of course, and every 7 p.m. on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be playing this American Mantics on this show. And I am your happy healer lover, and we'll be getting right into that prepared media soon. And this battle of goodness and evil is really something that exists, and it's a fact based on what we see and experience. And we're going to dive into what energy evil uses and address some of the topics that we discussed in the family group, because we're always family. So let's get started. This show will air on a normal schedule basis, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Good day, my fellow lovers. Why is President Trump under attack from all sides? Why are Americans in America under extended dreadful from attack from every imaginable way? Why is America stuck on hostilities between people? And why are our most dangerous and life-altering attacks on our nature and coming from elements within our own country, these horrible actions that the media takes against the people, the same media that the Trump has been calling out for the last 6 years, quite frankly. So thank God we've made progress on that stuff. But these are facts, and we'll have to cover this stuff. And so I ask you to sit back and enjoy, and I'm going to put that media on right now, and I'll be coming on in between. Thank you. To be so trustworthy in that process, and to win, people expect that, and they deserve that, and they want that. You get that when love works, it wins. I see young people that are looking into the future and having a hard time even seeing the future. I see older people that are so spiteful, they don't resemble the older people from my own youth, in that their wisdom seems to be out the door, whether it's temporary or not. It's all still the more scary, because this is not how humanity is naturally. And so when people want to get back to a safety, they want to get back to love. And in fact, not only do we need to get to the love we have once experienced as a nation, we have to get to a higher love than we have ever experienced in order to deal with the many problems we see. And that's just giving it as real as it gets. And so I hope we can all get honest about that we can deal in the honest future that we have together. And I'm confident that we'll be able to deal with this, and that we will win, and that we will win together. Good afternoon. Today's date is February the 11th, 2020, and I'm your happy healer. And I know when I speak to the people around this country that you too are in it, and your feelings are so dedicated to the same principal ideas that my feelings are also dedicated to. When I wake up every day working on the causes that we have talked about over the course of this year, it reminds me each and every day why when I wake up and do this hard work, the reason for that hard work. And so you better believe that we are going to stay on track. Let's face it, folks. We work in the energies. And when we fail to work in the energies, we all fail together in ways that we never intended to fail. We've wiggled and tried and worked. We dug in so deep and we worked so hard for the future that we knew was possible based on the information that they gave us. But they weren't just wrong, they were nefarious in the information that they gave us. The outcome that they have today was an outcome they anticipated based on manipulation, and that's what makes it so bad, because it becomes a matter of integrity, and I could never do that to myself. It's the hope I wake up with every day. It's what keeps me going, knowing that we have a chance to deliver love in this lifetime, and that we're talking about the real problems that are destroying our families, destroying the way of life, and making things impossible to go forward, because we're speaking for the people. We're doing a special job. All the issues that America has been dealing with and the friction within, the soft civil war that we're currently fighting, they believe that that's what we want. That look to the past, and they think that's where people want to go. They believe that's the net summation of all the problems humanity has been having, and people are on such different ends of the pool, and they're so scared. Their fear is driving them. Can you believe, after all of that, people are so misguided that that's where it's headed? And we are going to love Americans and show them how that when love works, it wins. And that we're going to show the way to win in love. And we're all going to get so excited in that process, because that's something that's been so overdue. And that by using that energy to get out of a world that's inverted, where hate is okay, where greed is okay, when it's not okay, we're stepping out. We're working on Happy Force One. This is coming together so well. I'm so excited and so pumped up. Plans for the future. We have other people involved. Everyone is excited because they know that when the masses hear their happy healer compared to what we have otherwise, that's what they know, and they're so excited about the possibilities from that truth. And so am I. I want to see it. It gives me hope to know that we can have a loving future, and that we can have common sense actually win, that we can have common sense rule the day. And the fact is, we do have a future. And the year is 2020, and that robots already should be further investigated, working in factories, making the way, paving the way for humanity to be free of this work hell that many people are in, doing jobs that are thankless, building a super consumer that gives us hope, energize the 21st century. That's what I see as being important. Give people dignity of having an income and being able to deal with the class warfare that we see, to put people on an equal footing so that we can deal with human issues, so that we can find love, so that people can find love. It's so important. People are finding themselves in such despair. They're so lonely. It doesn't matter what class you're at. You are usually there alone. You feel so alone, and I understand you. And we need a better future for our people. God bless you. God bless America. And let's do this thing. to be so trustworthy in that process and to when people expect that and they deserve that and they want that. You get that. So we'll see you soon. God bless you, and may God bless America too. Okay, folks, this is it. Your happy healer lover is here for you, and we are getting started. We have so much to discuss on this wonderful day because we're talking about the system that will be, opposed to the system that is, the one that's tearing us apart. It's making life hard on people with huge hearts that only would love to live a life of service. Hello and welcome back. This is your happy healer lover. And I want to introduce you to my previous self, let's say. And this is important to the happy healer story, and of course how I came about the knowledge that I wish to gift you. That it's important to know where and how the perception has come along, because what we are talking about here essentially is the system of God Almighty, who is an almighty lover. Make no mistake about it, that is what we are talking about, and should we forget that, then we will surely forget the importance of why this is so incredibly important. And I have talked to so many people. I have heard their grievances. I share their grievances. This is what perception is about. Understanding one another, having been through those circumstances, knowing what it feels like to have money and the fears that come with that experience, knowing what it feels like to be at the bottom, not having 2 cents to rub together. Each day is a disaster in its own right, and other people not experiencing your hardships expect you to plan life the way they do. And the only plan that you can stick to in that extreme poverty is the plan to get food for that day, shelter for that day, and whatever all the other needs that a human being requires, which is always and often negated in greed hell. And to provide this stuff, the goal must be to meet the needs of humanity and getting things right, working to the cause of the individual, providing their needs, and that to be the business of our markets and our government, which is meant to serve the people. And now when we talk about our markets, it comes with an entire base of knowledge points of its own. You often hear people throw things out for political argument, but that don't necessarily ring true insofar as mathematical fact is concerned. And so if you find yourself optimistic, well then you see things peachy, and if you're pessimistic about something, well then all hell and high water is coming. And that's how politics does things, which if you think about politics and the way that it's done, it's true that they're more like House of Cards than they are about prudent, moral, honest, and just outcomes for America. They are more career-oriented than they are service-oriented. And that's often what you see in what I like to call greed hell. It's because greed itself is developing so many of the problems that we're dealing with on the daily basis that it causes hell. And so to put those together is just all the more fitting. Greed plus hell makes greed hell, because you'll be hearing that term from time to time with your happy healer lover, because it's the only way I can use to describe the damages that greed, the energies of greed, which is by the devil that I say and I see and I know you can see too, because all you have to look at is what people are using. They're using greed in order to achieve what they need and what they want and what they desire, instead of using love and care and courage for one another and for our problems in this world in order to serve to the cause of those problems for each other. And that is at the essence of what American Mantics is about. It is the antidote to greed hell. We can't live a greed hell and find a happy life. Greed hell does not have a happy ending. Greed by definition is death for humanity. That is what greed represents. And so when you look at the energies of greed and you know what you're dealing with, well then you know you're dealing with an evil force. And when you see people and they often think in selfish ways and they allow the devil on their shoulder to control their actions, well then often you see them do things that are acceptable in greed hell. People people have often used what I see to be a very fake but convenient for them belief that there is no God. It unleashes in them the ability to do whatever they like with no consequence, no care, just a selfish desire. And in this case, inspired by greed hell to do some of the worst acts we see. So when I think of this awful energy that's controlling the world, and then I see youth that are killing themselves or dedicating themselves to the power of evil, doing awful things, shooting up mall venues and shopping centers, and it's a growing problem. People are feeling depressed. They're hungry. They see that nobody cares for them. When they hit rock bottom, perhaps when they were a child and they were naive, they maybe thought that somebody would catch you because that makes perfect human sense. We are naturally caring. But then we discover that actually in this world, it is a dog-eat-dog world, and we allow it to be that way. And we promote it to be that way. Where some people are doing outstanding, fantabulous, beyond their measure of need, while others are without and desperate, hungry and destitute, without answers for each day, let alone each week or month. And people who think about the answers to these really desperate problems for the people who are doing the suffering have some of the most inconsequential ideas because they do not impact in a way that solves the problem. And that's why I get to the real crux of the problem. And this is just as important as the fight between good and evil, because it is the energies that control humanity that brings out the world we live in. And what I know to be true, after so many years of happy healing and studying and learning, is that my humble heart, with all of its experience, tells me we are living in the devil's world. And I know many of you know that. And that this world is the devil's world because we allow it to be so. But in each one of our hearts is that honest broker of truth that I know that should we depend on that honest broker of truth that has always known it would stand up for what is the truth, especially when it's most consequential to humanity. Because at the heart and crux of it all, people care. And when they're not suffering and they know that they're cared for, they care for others. Love compounds and grows. That's the energy of God expanding outward. It's an expansive, expressive energy that you can rely upon and have faith in. And the facts speak for themselves when you get into the energies of love and all the sub-energies of love, which often people talk about these as being emotions. They're so human and raw to what it is to the experience of being a human being. The answers are written all over our hearts, implanted by our Creator. I know you can relate with so many of the things that I'm going to say, even if you couldn't think of saying them yourself, because this is a natural feeling that comes from our hearts, thoughts expressed through our passion. That's what I talk about when we're talking about the world of love. Happy people working with a growing world that loves them, a community of human beings that care, developing passions that bond them and make life fun, solving problems like human disease and suffering. Because when you're in a powerful world driven by the virtues of love and truth, the energies of God Almighty, who is an almighty lover, then you know that the more power, the better in that world. In greed hell, it's exactly opposite. And most people who are lovers of God are a bit apprehensive of technology. They see it to be evil. And it's not that technology itself is evil. This is a gift from God, just like we are a gift from God. And all life and all material science is a gift from God. Everything that we have here to recognize and to appreciate, from our tippy toes to our hair tops and all the way down, is a gift from God. From the subatomic world to the everyday world that we experience, it is all a creation and a gift from our God Almighty. And each one of us are ourselves a gift to each other from a Creator who clearly loves us. And we express in our lives the love that God has shown us to experience, has willed us to experience, and has allowed us to experience in our very creation. It's so important to remember that factor. We are lovers because God made us that way. And so when we see suffering, it causes deep depression in our hearts because of the effect that it has for us to see the starving children or the abused children that we have seen. It's detestable, the facts that we've learned, yet it's happening, and it's happening all around us. A kind and loving heart knows it must do something about that, but you become overwhelmed in greed hell, and that's what the design in the devil makes himself so clear to be by showing his marks in the cunning work that we see every day when people are dying and in misery and suffering, and even the rich people could be doing so much better. We know we're not living in the world of abundance. We know we're not doing our best because we're not caring about one another. We're leaving too much human potential on the table. That's what our markets are for. So we'll be discussing what those markets do and how they work so that people have a better understanding on what's possible, because we have to fix these problems. We cannot let greed hell persist. Greed hell, by and in of its own definition, means death. Just look what it puts out. For every winner, like Meet Kevin that we talk about on our Unchecked Greed series of the American Mantics, which is also putting out this Unchecked Greed series so that we can hold people accountable that seek office, who do extensive to astonishing levels selfish greed for themselves. We simply can't accept that. We're all creators and we're all creative. It's a magical world of your own creation. Make it the best world. Don't be empty. China is a topic that we must discuss. It's important that we understand this and that we discuss the problems that we're dealing with. It's a communist state that keeps very tight control on its people while reaching out to other countries like America, attempting to even do the same there. So the only worst consideration of these facts are the open number of people that are willing to, including our president, by the way, that are willing to be willing participants to this. China is not a system that would be beneficial to America. We know this. Yet, we are on our way there. This is about protecting our future. They're all weak when it comes to China and the threats that we face. This is part of what we talk about. And that China enjoys a unity that America does not have and has not had for a while. The last time we've had that was after 9/11, and maybe a couple of points where you're close with where you're like, under Obama a little bit close, but Obama squandered that, and it was a big mistake. And now we have to look at China producing their way to new heights with a tight grip on their own people, and they have an ease and ability at making things happen compared to America, if you think about it. That's why we have to find our unity so we could be competitive, and I know that we can, and that's what American Mantics is about in the long run, because I know some people were asking some questions about that, and it's about that trust and understanding about being a sober and prudent and moral and honest person who can easily tell the difference between good and evil. I've actually witnessed Americans openly asking for China to take over the USA, and that's not really something that we're comfortable with if you're aware of what they do. Yet they say that, and it's not good for them. And that the reason that they say that, by the way, is also a concern of American Mantics. Why are they saying these horrible things that are not even good for them? And that the damage that this media and the leftists have done is very apparent here. Please let me know what you think about that too. If you put that in the chat box, I'll respond to that. And we're looking out in the next 20 years with China. And I'm looking out for the next 50 years in America. And I'm looking at these big issues. But no worries, my family. We'll always be sure to end on a note that gives confidence to our approach. Because that will surely make you feel better. And everything I say from this point out is in relation to that fact and its conceivable effects on American life. This is a problem gone awry. and it's out of control with no end in sight. The problem is large, and so is the solution. It's of biblical solutions and proportions, in fact. So that's just the way that goes. It's a really important and huge thing to consider. And that's what American Mantics will be breaking down for people. And we'll be talking about things from various points of interest. And it requires that we have an honest knowledge and we speak in earnest. And I'm speaking from the wilderness in a way, calling out, asking others the deep questions, the things that'll lead us to some resemblance of eternal and honest life, as majestic as we could ever have dreamed of, and knowing that it's possible too. And know that we've done amazing things already, but our story is only as limited as we allow it to be in this case, because we're multidimensionally concerned. And it's part of being concerned in the first place for things that mattered in the first place and make things better. So think about that. So things we can have an effect on and change the trajectory of our outcome is to change our fate. It's our goal. It's our self-determination realized. That's what we're so determined to dream, to live a better life. The facts of history tell us the human story is one of struggle, trial, and tribulations, and great triumphs. It's a battle of wills and a testament to humanity's goodwill as well. To say goodness is in the human heart is to instantly recognize that there's an evilness out there as well. And for all that there's good can so easily be corrupted by that which is evil. And when we think of these words, they're not abstract. It's as simple as recognizing it is true, the age-old truth. And the very definition is to say that we have freedom at all, is to say that we could fulfill that dream. And we're here to experience the best life that we can combine in our creative ability, and it's our combined systems of government, and that our systems are meant to serve us and to help assist us become better. And yet they haven't done that, not in the least bit. And they need a major correction, and it would be in favor of every living person on this earth, let alone in our country. And it's God's plan, really. But we're focused on God's plan, and we're focused on our country, in fact, not everywhere else. We're focused on our country. And it's an opportunity to set the standard, to set the goal, and to set the example for others to follow. God's way is a great way. I will challenge folks in their ways of doing things and bring to light the vast problems American Mantics was designed to deal with. And I hope you'll stick with it, because we're a loving community. And I know that wherever we express our will, we'll be empowered to go beyond, and the power to respect, because we matter. We have purpose and value, and we are Americans. And we are human beings with a sacred reason for living and experience this wonderful gift of life. So says our loving Creator. It's our will and His gift to us to experience the power of love and its ability coupled with the honest and genuine truth. That's so important, or you become corrupted. And an approach to problem solving that will finally address the human struggle, as well as the environmental and natural barriers to an increasingly happiness that we all support and defend in the end, that we all want. Advancing society. And President Trump is under attack right now, seemingly, by the way, from all sides. We have to recognize that, and I give him a lot of credit for taking on this barrage of attacks. But it's only the beginning. Your happy healer lover will be out to discuss the truth and defend Donald Trump and the nature of the problem. And this will be the kind of thing that we always do, because it's important to talk about that truth and to defend the people that are defending what we care about in ways that we care about it the most. That's important for our progress. It's not an all-in-once progress. We could have never imagined this, what has already been accomplished already by President Trump. And so that's so important. And this is part of the teachings on American Mantics. The ideological system, just like any other system in that way, but dedicated to God's plan of love and truth, and subsequently our monumental success. Yes, by the way. And the choice there at that level is between evil, which is basically the energy of greed, and God, which is basically the energy of love. Now, I'm a man of faith. It's easy for me to say that. Some people might think that's fake, but they're wrong. And the fact of the matter is, you have God and his energy of love, and then you have greed. And so those are the two top energies. Before you can even get into, how we're going to do anything else, if you're going to be a communist or whatever. And I don't agree with that. I like what we got. I like capitalism. I love capitalism, and I love America, and I love our freedoms, and I love our founding documents. And I believe self-determination was written within our founding documents. But to understand that any system of government, when it comes to the administration of that system, is going to do horrible in this system if it's under the energy of greed, the devil, if it's under greed. Now remember, in this life, we couldn't possibly live all life under greed. And that, so we have a business structure that helps us be able to deal with life under this system. But in terms of what it could be under love, under the system of love, is much more. And I'll explain that, and I'll get into those details. And we'll break that down. I'll answer your questions. And I want, Trump, that's right, Paul. And I want you to ask questions about that, because it's very important. It's not something that cannot be protected. Actually, on the contrary, greed is the thing that cannot be protected. It is completely hostile in its actions, and it's reprehensible in its decisions, and its fraud, and its corruption. What we're talking about is love, and the way you live at home is your cocoon of love in a world of greed hell. But that's not how it should be. No. We are all family. Humanity is family. And so we should all be openly loving each other. That is a natural thing for us to be doing. And that is what God wants us to do. God does not, and I don't think anybody would actually say that they think that God thinks that they don't want us to love each other. And then so if you get down into the dirty aspects of what love is, and if you actually take it for what it means, and that we're supposed to love each other, and unless you're allowing yourself to subdue what the word love means and pervert it, which greed would love, the energy and that cunning energy, that so just a very dodgy energy that hides behind so much. I don't know, I think it was blocked when I was talking about the analogy of business and greed, and how certain things are done in business and it's completely okay, because it's not anything you would ever do to, like, for example, a sister, a brother, a mother, somebody you love. But you would do in business, because business is business. And hey, in business, we screw each other. For every one successful person, you have like 10 failures right there. In fact, probably his victims. So let's just be honest about it. Greed is a crappy force, and it's out for death. I mean, that is an honest assessment of what the energy is. Tell me I'm wrong, and then we'll have that discussion. But the idea about this is to be 100% true all right, stick with me, and 100% loving. And to have that to be our way of living, that is an honest to God preference of mine. And I would have to ask anybody, do you have another preference? Do you think another way? I mean, we're not saying that love backs you in a corner, not by my definition. Love allows you to do creativity like you've never seen before. Love allows you to be who you are meant to be and to be supported by everybody else being who you are meant to be. Love is the love force, the creation force, the passion force. People only build and do things and create things to make lives better for other people because of their passion and their willingness and desire to change the world. Look at Donald Trump, his love for America. And that's what gets people moving. That's the most powerful force. You can't tell me that greed, the power of seduction, the power of corruption, and the power of it will connive you, it will bribe you. It does whatever it needs to win. And when all that fails, it'll take you to court, it'll lie to you, if that don't work, it'll go to war with you, and it'll do away with you. That is just the way greed does things. And that's the way corrupt actions play out, because that's the energy that we're talking about. Now, if it's something else, then it's a different kind of energy. All right, so then love. Now, love, of course, we're going to go the distance for that. I love you, just like I love you. I'm going the distance right now and here, and I'll be doing it every single time. And I love you is the reason why I do it. And that care, that genuine care, that's what builds the world up. And that's God's world when it works out of care. Oh, when you get people working on that energy, you think that they're lazy? No. Oh my goodness. When they're working off the energy of God, they're going to be so productive because people are working for the betterment of their own lives. They're working for the betterment of happiness and each other. And it's a constant energy that fills itself. Remember, people are working also in an increasingly advancing society in exponential ways that make them more empowered. Their ways and means have essentially increased. So now they're capable of doing so much more. And that is a massive, really, gift. And so I just want to look at the comments here. And I see Paul says, Trump, all right, let's go Trump. And there was another comment here, and I'll read it out loud so we can address a couple of these. Yeah, parts of our problems are living in decadence. We don't really have a national goal or anything like that. Just vanity and capitalism and some, like one was saying, leftist language. That's all of this is completely true, and it's all just words. Nothing is changing. Nothing is getting done. You're absolutely right, and that's what American Mantics is different about. American Mantics is about goal making. It's about achieving those goals. It's about inspiration. It's about saying we can do it. And we know we can do it because we've got the power of our almighty lover behind us. And when you build an increasingly exponentially powerful to the order of magnitude, just growing over and over again, you've got a cascading, growing, and energy of American spirit. That's what it is. It's our American spirit. Because we are Americans at the end of the day. This is our country. This is what we have our influence, and that we can make a difference, and that we can set the example for humanity. We love all humanity, and that by showing what the right way is to do, and that by showing we can become both free and we can be united, something that we're having a real hard time with lately, if you haven't noticed. And that empowers us, just like it has empowered China, except for that China literally has a fake unity. It's fake, folks. It's not real. They're being forced into a way of thinking. They're being forced and massaged and worked and propagandized until this is the way that they believe, and many of them do. However, there's a large, even growing, and I think quiet, and perhaps needing to be quiet, if you get the drift, for their own longevity, but a growing number of people who recognize how bad their leadership is and what they're doing, and the CCP is up to no good always. And we know about that. I actually do a lot of looking up on that. It's a very important topic. And I think that China, it could potentially be it's a threat already. It could potentially grow as a threat. And to say it's a threat is not to say I hate Chinese people or to be some warmonger. The last thing the happy healer ever wants is a war. No. It's about making us more powerful. It's about making us united, stronger than we've ever been before. It's about being able to do big things because we invested big in us. And remember, it's never worth the investment in greed hell, because greed hell always drops everything. Nothing never matters. People aren't being taken care of. Nobody cares. So this is about a different way of doing things. And it's about combining, in a sense, a lot of different beautiful, in the most beautiful sense, and ideas. Like, for example, the Republicans often, and I agree in the way things are done here, that when the Democrats talk about having all these, like the Great Green Deal, and it's impossible. Come on, how are you going to pay for that? And I agree 100% with that, and I vote for Trump. I that is my opinion. And there's no way possible you're going to be able to pay for these programs, although you speak them out, and you're not making a difference. And the reason why is because we're in greed hell. You cannot possibly do anything good in greed hell. And we elect people that are corrupt often, that are part of that swamp, that then we expect the best out of that, and what we get is more of the same. And it's greed hell that we live in. We're not recognizing, like my gentleman earlier said a moment ago, that national goal. Think about that national goal. And in this sense, it's about making life better. We want to live, instead of promising we'll create an environment where you can prosper if you try, and then failing often, we would promise an environment of care and love and the right systems to get that done. To get it done. Now, I could pour out systems, and I have a lot, but if we get into that, this will be another 3-4 hours, easy, because especially with my current audience, because we have to discuss a lot. And it's not bad stuff, it's great stuff. Like I said, I voted for Trump. We're talking about a 50-year progress plan. And the idea about this is, we talk to a lot of seniors. They're upset. They're fast the ones losing. They're hearing about what's going insolvent. Oh my God, Social Security's going insolvent. Folks, we live in greed hell. Greed hell is out for one thing: death for all people. Think about it. Greed hell wants death for all people. The end. That's the end. And I will prove that every single time. Because some people, I think, they get this doubt about it. And I'm not calling people themselves incessantly, you're greedy or a bad thing. No, this is about an energy that is controlling us all. This is about something we're all stuck in, because we should live our lives in a more, like I said earlier, more prudent, moral, it's not respectable at all the way we live when it comes to greed and the way greed responds to things. And I think a lot of you understand what I'm saying. Some of you are questioning it. And one thing that I will say is, if you want to come on the show, I'll love that, by the way. I'd love to have you on. We could discuss it. This goes back out. People will watch it throughout the day, tomorrow, the week, and in fact. And so more people will see it, and it will expand in its coverage. And I think that you'll enjoy coming on and getting your feelings across. And quite frankly, I would enjoy having you on, because it gives me a chance to speak to you and help and love. And I just love you so much. I can't lie to you. And I just want to be able to answer your questions. And I'm so confident in the power of love and truth and Americamantics, essentially. And remember, when you see Americamantics, you always see love and truth with it, because that's the power that it's representing. And that's what it's about. It's about love and the God's honest truth. That's it. the truth. Not what you want it to be. And there's often a convenient truth. And in greed hell, you almost must have a convenient truth. The other side is already bringing, it's all about the order of politics. It's about bringing it as close to your side, whatever lies, whatever means. And if the other side is doing that and winning, it's going to make this atmosphere where that's the way business is done. That's not what I'm talking about. No. That's why I'm saying let's bring out your honest broker of truth. We're not talking to the typical way things are done. We're talking to like as if your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, someone you love, because that's the level that love is on. Love actually can afford to care. Remember, you can't afford to care when you do greed. And when you do business just in the way that greed is okay with. And by the way, being a capitalist nation does not mean that you cannot be capitalist because you're lovers. No, you can have a reward system. You can have the stock market. Everything's the same. It's just making a transition to a world of love. And we talk about that. And we talk about the need of that. And we don't get into every facet of it. That's a massive, and by the way, we get into a lot of this stuff because you just have to. But it's not something that you could honestly cover just one person. It's a monumental task that would require the efforts of millions of people. And so there'll be a constant effort. And what care does is it digs deeper. It cares. It goes out and it does the effort. Think about when this coronavirus, and it could have even been something much worse, had happened. And they're not coming out to you, oh, can we help you? Or anybody caring. Your neighbors aren't coming to check on you. Not the way things are now so much. In some of the communities, but not so much in a way that's helping you. Here's $1,000. Let's get you going. I care about you. You're like my younger brother. I can't leave you here to stuck and die. And you never would do that anyway. Help came, but it was much further down the road. And then you have also, and I think there's a little bit of hypocritical nature going on, where business people will talk about, oh, those lazy employees, they expect to have stimulus, and how dare they expect that? And yet here they are, often getting PPP, which, by the way, pays them to the tune of up to $1 million in some cases, and for even smaller companies and just individuals, up to I think $20,000 per occurrence. And they had 2 occurrences, and they have other programs. The EIDL, they're handing out $10,000 per company based on different circumstances. They're giving loans. I know of people, they've gotten over $500,000 loan. Okay, these same people come back and are giving other people a hard time for getting $1,000. I think that we just have to be very pragmatic in our expectations. I think greed sometimes sets our expectations slanted a little bit, and we have to get our honesty going right, guys, because this is not the way we're supposed to be living. No, you know the better, you know the difference, and this is the kind of thing that people have a hard time with, because they will struggle that, oh, well, I got this, but it was good for me because what I'm doing, but what you're trying to do, no, that's not so good. And so this hassle, we don't get anywhere with that. Lovers take care of business. We use the system that, honestly, I think all systems fail in greed hell and all systems succeed in God's love. That simple. This is a matter of faith for me. So it's not about, oh, well, if you do greed in this way, you'll do better. Try it that way. No. All systems fail in greed. Remember, greed is after one thing at the end of the day. It's the devil's energy. It wants death. Death is where greed ends. Till death do us part for greed is a literal thing, and it wants to get there fast. And it's doing quite a good job. Look how many people are dying all around us. This is what our current system gives us. Its failures, therefore, are apparent. It's not even like you have to discuss that. It's so obvious. What honest Christian would try to say that this is a good world? This is a horrible world with all the death and destruction and misery, and a beautiful creation of God's that's just trampled on. We could do so much better, and that's the honest truth. And that's what love does. Essentially gets that job done. And so it really does matter that I say take apart your normal thinking with this whole political ordeal debacle. Put on your honest broker of truth cap. And it's more than a cap. It's your core. It's your soul. It's your core. Your honest broker of truth is where all of your most important and firmest truth is held. And when you are approached with such the truth that can change the prospects for your own life, for all life, and because it is working with the essence of our Creator, this is something that is hard to walk away from when you know that it's the right thing. And that's what the honest broker of truth does. And I'll always speak to you from the honest broker of truth. I have no reason for lying because I use happy healing. I use American Mantics, which works within the love and truth order. This is how life should be lived. Honestly, it's not a bad thing. Love and truth. Love is the thing you have for your family. Honesty is the best thing we could hope for in society. And sure, people are free to do what they want, but, conscience does exist. We should not be putting out there that, oh, yeah, greed is great. Let's do greed. Greed as hard as you can. Oh, yeah, wonderful. Like the stock market, greed and fear. Do it, baby. Let's just, rank out and kill as many as we can. Profit over people. Oh, yeah. Did you make money? Cha-ching. I mean, it gets to be a bit much. And, where's the love in all this? It's completely out of the question. Well, that's because we live in greed hell. Now, if we live in the world of God's love, it would be completely different. It would be about what is going to help us become more capable. Oh, we got Elon Musk. Let's empower him. Let's empower everybody, in fact. Let's become creators. Let's become developers. Let's fix our problems. Let's lift our people up. Let's do it in freedom. Let's do it with what is written in our founding documents, the will for self-determination and one nation under God. How many nations are we split into right now? We're in a self-civil war. It is a shame. That is not the way God wants. And yet it's what we have. And so we have to be honest with ourselves. And I speak to the honest broker of truth within. That's all I would ever speak to. And so we discuss it. And we love each other. We care about the outcome that we're all going to experience. And trust me, my achy back tells me that this is a true experience. This has been a tough last year for your happy healer lover. I am committed. This is a life commitment for me. I'm honest with you. I've told you from the start. I said I'm not mattering. I have no reason to marry at this point. I'm focused. I'm 42 years old. It doesn't mean that that's too old to marry. It just means that for the experiences that I've had, I'm living the life that I feel compelled to live. And that's what I think we should all do. And I think one of the most important roles in this life is to be a mother or a father. And had I had that option for me so easily, then yes, that would be perhaps one thing I would do. But God has taken me down this path, and I'm proud to be here. And I do believe in the soul energy. And I know that inside of myself resides my truer self, perhaps, and maybe not literally inside. I won't put too much judgment there because I simply don't know. But I will say, I feel the energy, and I do know that I am the energy on the inside of my body. I am the spirit within, and I speak to you, your spirit within, and that honest broker of truth. And what is best for us spirits? What are we doing here? This is killing our people. We are dying, just like when our babies get killed in abortion. How are we letting people die anywhere? Why are so many people dying on the streets? My goodness, we've got to be a better steward of our people. We've got to be a better steward of our world. And we have to be a better steward of our own lives. And everything this life has given us is a gift from God. Why are we not accepting it with open arms and excelling it? Well, one good reason is because greed hell takes things and uses advancement for affliction. For example, they use technology to keep their people in line. And love, no, it uses its advancement to make lives better and easier and to keep any possible attack that would try to jeopardize those happy lives at bay. I could imagine nuclear weapons could simply be dealt with in ways you couldn't even imagine today with new technology. And it's all possible. It's all possible in this science of this land. Scientists have already discussed it. It's an amazing possible factor in terms of what's really capable in this world to be. And so you can't rule anything out. All you can say is, we are lovers, we are here for one another, we love each other, we love God, and this is what's most important for each one of us to do. And that's a great starting point for any one of us to take. And so that's what I recommend is so far as direction, like my friend here has said, make sure we have a goal. And a goal is important to have. And I would say a great goal for you is to just watch what I mean about how effective love is. And when you get into situations and you're discussing something and you might get mad, I say pause, wait, hold, see if you could stop yourself. You got that willpower. Now you're even more in control of your destiny. See if you could stop yourself. Act within love and really show love. Act within love and love will be shown. Act within love and you will receive love. Act within love, and when you receive love, you will feel love, and therefore you will love. Act within love, and you are dealing with God's energy. God is a lover. He is our almighty lover. So act within love and see how powerful it is in your life. And I'm sure you'll be amazed at the power that it has. It is all so powerful and capable, and it'll increase your business. It'll increase your prospects with people. It'll make you a star. And so, as your life improves, and you become more capable, and you become more happy, and you're seeing how well truth and love works, even for yourself. Because, a lot of times people have a hard time being honest, even with themselves the most. I understand this. Trust me. I've done a lot of things in life. I ran a Boston market, ran my own business, year-over-year sales growth increases. I've been successful, having other people, yada, yada, the guy's doing great, big head kind of stuff. And I've been both, and I've been through the harder times, so I know what it's all about. And I say act within love and see what you get, because the difference between acting within pride and acting within all of these energies that are what I call association energies, they work in greed. If you want to be successful in greed, you're going to have to get used to a couple of rules. These are the ground rules, and we all know that. And these ground rules are awful. Love's world's ground rules are different, that's all. And that those ground rules are, you have humility. You don't get embarrassed easily about things, because you understand that we're supposed to love each other, and you do love everyone. And so when somebody, even if they give you hate, you just return love. And it's a very genuine thing for you, and it keeps you safer. The power of love is absolutely amazing. It makes you more friends. It keeps you more popular too. I say try it and see how it changes your life. See how it makes you more productive. See how it makes you more passionate about everything you do. And watch how much you are lifted. You're more capable. Watch. Watch how you're less depressed. You see the value in your own life. One thing I will leave with you. Love yourself. Love yourself first. Love yourself most. Love yourself hardest. But love yourself. Love yourself with everything you got. Your body, your whole entire life in this existence, this ability to experience. You are an experiencer. You are an observer. That's what your job is in this life, first and foremost. You are that life that observes all other things happening. You are given the gift of life to observe by your almighty creator. What a gift it is. And you should experience and feel that gift. And you should be so happy about that. And that gift of life that your spirit has received should make you feel so elated and excited to be able to experience life. And when you look back on life and you see that experience that you're having that's so great and so grand, and that you're just so happy to have all of these feelings that life gives you, recognize that it was your creator who gave you that life, and that love is why he gave it to you. Your creator's love for you. And that's what's most important out of anything else, is the creator's love for you. And so when you have faith in God and you realize God exists, and that you realize his love for you is what is most consequential in your being here at all, and that you exist and that you're living this life, well, that's something you got to be grateful for. And so I say, when you recognize the real gift that life is and that love is, then it changes and everything changes, and you love yourself. You love yourself so much. You see the Creator. You know that the gift of life is so special, and you know it's meant to be even more special. That same love that He gave us in our creation is the same love we should be using in our lives. Scripture says it. It's clear. Greed just got in there. Greed is this dark, creepy, confusing force. Yes, it's cunning. It's a trickery force. But we'll get more into that too. And so I think that compassion is really important, and that's how I live my life. I have a sense you can't beat greed in the world of greed hell with using the exclusive energies of love that you would prefer to use. Remember, love is with truth together. Love is with truth together. And when you recognize, wait a second, there's a bigger truth here I need to be concerned about that's going to have a consequential outcome in reality. I'm an observer and I can see, then I'm going to be sure to let that truth have an impact on my thinking. Yes, this is what we prefer. However, this is the way it is. And often you're always having these buts and ifs. And because we are in this world of greed hell, and the way to win in greed hell is quite clear. As a lover who sees things clearly, you're never confused of what matters most. And everybody else, they got to guess at that. It'll be clear on what matters most. And in the way that we incorporate those thoughts in the general decisions we make, in the compromises we make, in deciding how to live in the world of greed hell, we are most empowered, I assure you of that. Okay, folks, this is going to sum it up because I've been on for, I think, hour at this point. I do apologize about the start of the other show. I hope we answered some of those questions that Oh, you know what I want to get into before we do go, if we can, is and I'll just go ahead and show it on my screen here. You're looking at Google, and I'm just gonna go to our group. And what I'll do is I'll just go over a couple of things, because I know how important it is to address some of this stuff that I said I was going to talk about. And I want to make sure you can hear me as I'm talking. I just want you to be able to hear here. So, and in fact, right now, what I'll do, and I'll try to do this at the end of each show, is slow things down a little bit. And if you're still here with me, we can discuss things. I can talk to you, or if you do want to be a guest on the show, you can let me know. And I can prepare that. We can make it happen. So essentially what's happening in my life, I'm also unfolding. As you could tell, I'm in Mini Force 1 right now. Mini Force 1 is the smaller version. Happy Force 1, there's a story behind that. Some of you might know. I'm sure, some of you know. But some of you don't know. And, we'll be getting into that on the next episodes. And also, we'll be getting into American Greed Unchecked with different people who are using greed and the effects of greed to benefit their lives. And I always say, for those people who benefit, there's always a lot of people around them who failed. And often those people who are so driven have often a lot of enemies. And, that wears down the soul. A lot of people, they're not good at that. Being successful in greed hell is being good at doing some awful things, really. And that's why it's really not preferred. We could have a better way of doing things. That's the first, before we even get into what system of government you first got to decide what system of evil or love, which one. Are you going to go with the God system or the devil system? That's really, and it's honestly a choice. It's just as simple as that. The goodness and the evilness fight is happening in your soul right now, and mine too. And we're running out of time, and bad things can happen. Greed is a very dangerous force. It does crazy things, starts wars like Adolf Hitler, and like the craziest things we ever see. Awful things that kill us fast and things that kill us slow, but always things that kill us. And it's insane. And so greed is really, it's well beyond its day. It's not serving any good at this point. I'm sure at some point it serves some good, possibly. I guess. I would have to assume maybe there is some yin-yang energy there. Maybe there was some needing the devil to get to the light. I don't know. I have no idea. I do know this. We can't stay in this energy and survive and thrive. Greed is never going to take us to the promised land. Never. There's way too many problems, sub-problems, additional problems, every time anything is done in greed, because it always leaves people out. It always leads to death. It always leaves these horrible atrocities. And all it leaves behind in its wake is a reason why. It's really good at accounting. In fact, it overspends on accounting and fails at life. It's insane. And those of you who do business understand that. I'm a business guy. I know. And so it's upsetting. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I know I'm kind of loud as it is, but it's upsetting. It's really, to me, upsetting. So, we are on my Facebook page, My Lovers. And what we're going to do is go to Okay. We'll roll this down just a wee bit. Oh my God, does this actually say Meet Kevin on the public forum? Oh geez. Can you believe that? It says actually Meet Kevin over there. This has nothing to do with Meet Kevin. Let's see if we could edit this real quickly. Can I edit the title? Oh, I guess not. Oh well. Okay, so this was the first one, which, that just went horrible. Oh, there is sound to start with. Okay, so only part of it wasn't lit up, so that's good. That makes me feel better. Yeah, the more you'll get to know me, the more you'll understand my quirkiness. I'm just very straightforward. There's no reason to be any other way. We're running out of time quickly. And, I'm 42. I don't know how old you are. And, it kind of feels like life is difficult at times, That's why I'm like, shouldn't it be easier a bit? Yeah, it should be. And the reason why it's not is because, it's just nobody gets it. It's everybody in greed hell gets pooped on. Greed is by definition the force of death. And, not everybody likes hearing that aspect. But, look, if you want to be honest so we can fix the problem, and remember, love and truth works together, well, then that's it. What are you going to say good things about greed? Oh, greed is so great. Greed has really made America such a wonderful place to live. I specifically like how greedy and awful people are in their businesses when they make decisions that sometimes might have to, hurt somebody else. It's not really what I want to say. And I don't think, I say, here's what I say. I've been in the same shoes as people in my own business where I charge for services. It's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what becomes bad is when you hurt people. I had a landlord, not a landlord, but somebody who loaned me money on my previous home, the one I sold right before I got Happy Force 1. And that guy was awful. That guy was really awful. He was capable of doing so much bad. Perhaps one of the worst people I've seen in my life. My eldest brother died within the last 3 months, so hard. And I'll be discussing that too in the future. I don't plan to have like a somber tone all the time, but it's important. Life is so important. And it's important to remember people and their love that they've had. And so let's just go ahead and move along here. Oh, I like this post. This was for women, because most of the people in our group are women, and they're amazing, and I love them all. They're all part of the active members that help keep it a vibrant place. Not just women, men too. And you're all great, and will continue being great, and you're all lovers of God, and you all essentially understand faith and get that great appreciation for this life and for God. And I relate with that. And so I value, nonetheless, you even more than I could imagine valuing, because I value that too. And it's always great when you share love for God with somebody else. That's such a, I think it really helps bind, and it's such a social event, because God is love at the end of the day. That's why there's a lot of fellowship around God. And women obviously love Trump as well. If you see, 60% of this group that is in our group is women, and loves their lovers, and I'm a lover, so it's great. We get along great. You're just great, women. Don't change. I love you. Your happy healer loves you. And I'm a bit of a dork, I guess, but I do love you. And the truth matters, though, and that's something that I think a lot of people, when they think strict truth, oh, that's just an exercise too much, you know? It's not meant to be an exercise too much. In greed hell, it would be. You couldn't possibly live the virtues of God in the world of the devil, right? But you make transitions, and that is what's powerful. And by the way, small transitions of the power of God help lift your life in powerful ways. I've told you that to start with, and that's the truth. So, and you'll see that. A lot of people have used happy healing and done very well with it. I've had people that were close to suicide and have come back because of happy healing and the recognition of God and the viewpoints that we see, the power that God has, and the reasons for living are so profound, and building a new driven drive for life is what happy healing and American Mantics is. So that's what we're growing. It's something I haven't seen from anyone else ever before. And the things that, when we get deeper into like the actual aspects of what happy healing is and what American Mantics is, I think that you'll grow more and more powerful and stronger with the ideals. And that's my experience with other people. It's not something that's like people think when they hear me talk, because it's so powerful, that it's occultist in some way. But it's not. You can have passion, an open passion. In the world of God's love, it's about open passion and love. It's about being bright the best you can be and having the courage to do anything. Remember, in greed hell, it's greed and fear. In God's love, it's care and courage. And in fact, that's it. You also don't fear death. You realize that you are your spirit and that this life is an experience in its own right. So those are two different things, in fact. Your life that you're living here is just one part of a grander, greater life that you have. And that's a wonderful thing to know. And I think you already know it deep down. And that's the wonderful news that helps people understand in a way that, and again, I believe this to be true in terms of my spirit and how I believe my spirit to be. And I share with you that's all. I believe it based on my experiences and what I've seen and what I know to be true. And I know this life means something. I am not about to sit here and believe that, no, we don't have value. Or sit here and believe that, awful, detestable, bad things are just okay, that I've seen a lot of in my life. And that's what greed causes. And it promotes that, and it says turn the other way, and it creates an atmosphere for that. And I'm uncomfortable with that. I really am. And so I want a way for me that helped me understand why it is that stuff happens and what's causing it. And I realized after a lot of study that there really is this important connection between these energies, like the love of God that created us and gave us this life, and greed that causes some of the worst acts. You'll never have an explanation for why people feel some of the most awful ways, why other people feel like they're being attacked by demons or spirits or God knows what. And this life is, you have to say, we're standing on a peculiar life. This alone doesn't make sense. There's got to be something else there. Our intelligence tells us that. We know that. So what is it? And how can we live a full life thinking all that there ever was, will be, and that matters is what's here now, and what that we can accumulate with a certain amount of certainty through our sciences, what was there then? That's not enough, no. Oh no. You've got to be fully engaged in every sense of the word and know what was then, there, now, and where we're going to, and have a desire to get there, to be there, to want to do better. And that's what people naturally have. Greed is just something that, like I say, it's a death force. It's always tearing at the worst part of people. And if we have a chance to be better, if we can create better in this life, and if you can be here to experience it, wouldn't you want that? I mean, no, put aside the BS, right? No, put away everything and think about for a moment what you often criticize. Think about, oh, can you hear me? Think about what, and I want to see if you guys can write any ideas. If I know I'm spending a long time here. Think about what kinds of things are most important to you to experience in this life. And then think about for your family, the people you love, because that's really what started to get me thinking. Think about, who do you love most in this life? Start there. Is it your child? It's your child, right? Your brother, your sister, your boyfriend, maybe. Your girlfriend, maybe. Think about that person. Imagine that person. Would you imagine them being on their own. That for some reason you're out of the picture and maybe you got hit by a bus. Who knows? Let's hope that never happens. But assume you're not in this realm, okay? They could miss you or whatever, but you still have that connection. But you are looking back on their life. What would you want for them as they're going about life? And then you see somebody, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this person. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got this great business deal. I'm going to get this guy going. He's going to sign on the dotted line. And you're thinking to yourself, no, baby, don't do that. No, that's the worst thing for you. I want you to have a happy life. Don't let this guy do that. Oh, no, I'm just building up my career. He knows it's not the best thing for the person you love also. But he's doing it anyway because he's going to put another feather in his cap. For him, it's another sale. And here goes your loved one. And they're weak at this moment. They're even a little weak because they're missing you. And here now they are approached and you're watching back on them and this person. And they signed to them a house somewhere where you know that they can't afford and that they don't want to live ultimately for a long time, right? But yet this person talks them into it. You've got to have this house, yada, yada, yada. And you witness it all. You witness, oh, but you seen everything that your loved one was thinking and saying and experiencing. And you just couldn't communicate it because you're on the other side of the veil, let's say. But you could see it. Wouldn't you want the best? You wouldn't want this horrible stuff happening. And even if you were alive, I'm saying, because I really see myself as a spirit, so it's so easy for me to think like that. I don't think of death with spirit. It's, to me, that's not possible. But if and again, I think that's part of how you beat death, by the way. But with this, looking back on people that you love, you want them to have the best life. And you know yourself that you deserve the best life. If you think back of when you were a child, and you dreamed about princesses and princes and all of what the magical life could be, but never was. And that's our fantasy and our fascination and our dreams and our imagination. And that's all that is, coming alive. And we know that we can have better and that we can serve to being sweethearts, as I call it. Sweethearts are great. And I think that's what the difference is realizing that people matter. They ultimately matter to you so much. And that you want the best for them in every instance. And there's a better way. In American Mantics, it's that way. All right, folks, we'll see you soon. God bless you. I love you. I am your happy healer lover. And good evening.